welcome to Combat Thoughts. I'm Robbie.
I'm Lee.
And I'm Alex.
We're going to take a deeper look at the culture and philosophy behind martial arts. All right, mate. Well, look, thanks for coming on. Polaris is in a couple days. How are you feeling for it?
Funnily enough, I feel great, which is really unusual for me, actually, because
Right.
As I explained to you before we start the podcast, I've had the opportunity to go on it twice. I managed to, out of those 2 times, I ended up being on it once. Obviously on one of those occasions, I wasn't even able to get on the stage. And then the second occasion, I had a really bad run up to it. So it's just great to be able to have got some good training in and get some good preparation for this one.
Cool. We'll touch on the previous Polaris bits in a minute. But I mean, how do you normally feel coming up for competitions? I mean, do you normally feel good coming up to competitions, or do you get fucking nervous?
I think everybody gets nervous to a certain extent. I suppose I think the difference is when you've acclimatized yourself to competing, you just become better at being able to prepare for it mentally and be able to deal with the nerves in a better way. So over the years, I've learned to overcome those nerves and learn how to kind of like deal with them. So from that aspect, I'm not nervous at all. But obviously, you're always going to get those butterflies. You're always going to get that little bit of anxiety there. But I think I think that's only natural, and I think it's a great way to kind of like motivate you to get out there and do well as well. So yeah.
Nice. What does prep look like for the competition? I mean, partly, do you do anything like you said you're better at preparing mentally for it? What does preparation look like?
Mentally or physically?
We'll do mentally first and then physically.
Mentally is very kind of like just within yourself, really, just kind of visualization, understanding what you need to do, putting your game plan in place. So I suppose they're very connected in that way as well, because obviously if you're physically prepared, then it makes you a lot more comfortable mentally as well. So in that aspect, it's just making sure that I'm well rested, and that's something that that a lot of competitors and I think a lot of practitioners struggle to do, is making sure that they balance out the training with the rest as well. And I'm very good at resting. I like to rest, but I've had more than ample time to prepare for it properly as well. So.
Nice. And do you do like a proper camp running up to these competitions? How do you run up to them?
I think because I run a gym as well at the same time, it's quite difficult to completely focus on my own training. You just do what you can, man. I mean, at the end of the day, I kind of know what I'm doing. I've already got a competitive game plan in place. Obviously, with the fact that it's Polaris and it's on the stage and it's kind of more of a pro kind of setup, the intentions aren't to win by points or advantages. Firstly, because there aren't any. Obviously, you've got the referee decision as well. But the emphasis is to win. And to submit. So obviously my preparation has been more geared towards submission and aiming to get to strong positions and maintain those positions and eventually kind of submit. So obviously all my training has been geared towards that. Like I said, I try and fit it in between kind of teaching and whatnot. Luckily, we've got other instructors who teach at the gym. So it allows me to kind of balance things out. And if I feel like I'm not kind of training enough, I can give some of the other instructors some extra classes and I can start focusing on myself a little bit more.
Yeah, of course. I mean, you mentioned there about how you approach Polaris differently. Do you gear your training towards a specific opponent?
Yeah, it helps if there's some footage on the opponent that I can find. On this occasion, I'm not going to tell you whether I have or not, but I think that's probably giving it away. But yeah, I mean, there's very little out there at the with some competitors. So sometimes you just got to zone in on what you're good at and try and making sure that you get to your strong positions first. If for example I knew that somebody that I'd be coming up against, which is much easier with a like a single match event like Polaris, if I knew that he had certain strong positions, I would try and kind of focus a proportion of my training towards dealing with those negative situations as well. But because I haven't had as much material, I've tried to kind of balance it out a little bit, and making sure that I'm well practiced in a lot of those negative positions, as well as dealing with my game plan and making sure that I assert myself and, you know, and put my game forward as well.
Yep, makes perfect sense. All right, and then now I think there's a good time to talk about the last times on, well, the last attempted times on Polaris.
Yeah.
Just talk to me about them.
Okay, so I hate making excuses, but you know, but the first time I got an opportunity to go on Polaris, man, I was super stoked. Obviously, it's such a massive event for UK Jiu-Jitsu and obviously on the world platform as well. It's very, very well regarded. So my first opportunity was a few years back, and unfortunately I ended up injuring myself a couple of weeks before the event, which I was extremely gutted about. Like I said, I had good preparation coming up to it, managed to get injured, and I had to back out of it. And I was really gutted, really gutted to not be able to get onto that stage. And I thought, well, maybe this was the only opportunity I had. And then came along another opportunity, and the guys at Scramble and, you know, the organizer at Polaris got in contact with me again, and I thought, well, look, this is that one opportunity, and, you know, to kind of prove myself. And about a month and a half before the event, it's probably about 8 weeks before the event, as I started to kind of pick up my training a little bit more, I really badly injured my neck and my shoulder, and it was like a reoccurring problem. But I actually ended up, while I was demonstrating a technique, it kind of, my partner landed like on top of my neck pretty much, and I ended up really badly injuring it. I was rehabbing it for about 6 weeks. I wasn't planning to back out, so I wanted to get on that stage whatever happened. So started rehabbing it after about six weeks. Well, no, so if it was a month, it was about 8 weeks before the event, and I managed to get like a week and a half's worth of training probably prior to the event coming in. Obviously I was really limited for movement and stuff, so even cardio was hard work. But I wanted to get on there, and I wanted to at least kind of like be there and say, look, I've, you know, whatever happened, I'm gonna make sure that I'm gonna turn up to the event. Because the worst thing for organizers, as well as you probably know, is people backing out last minute. And I'm sure there are other people kind of in there, but I just wanted to kind of prove to my students as well as myself and the organizers that, you know, that I was ready, you know, whatever happened, I was ready to go in there and give it a go. I lost. But, you know, that was down to my injury. That was just down to, you know, kind of like, you know, my opponent was a strong opponent, and he was always going to be a tough guy to beat. So yeah, he just got the better of me on the day. But this is my third opportunity, and I'm hopefully gonna take the win this time. I'd really love to take the win on the Polaris prelims card. So yeah, that's the plan.
Yeah, of course. And you are coming in, well, as uninjured as a black belt can.
Yes.
At this point. Yes. Nice.
Yeah.
Good to hear. Well, last bit, we're running through some quick fire questions, which people seem to like. So we might keep them in as a permanent feature of these. So if you let me run through them. All right. I tend to know this first one with just about everyone I speak to. Gi or no gi?
Yeah, it would be gi. It'd tip it over on the gi, but gi, yes.
Yeah, of course. I mean, you're very much of the opinion that that's proper jiu-jitsu, right?
Well, you know, it's all jiu-jitsu at the end of the day. I was reading an article the other day about this, funnily enough, but yeah, obviously articles come out all the time. And, you know, and the way that I was taught jiu-jitsu was you train jiu-jitsu in the gi, and then once a week you take your jacket off. There was no rash guards at the time. You go bare-chested with the gi pants, and that's the no gi. You know, obviously it's evolved into its own thing now, but that was what we knew as no gi, was basically jiu-jitsu without the jacket on. So yeah.
Yeah, of course. Favorite athlete of all time, inside or outside of jiu-jitsu?
So childhood athlete was probably Daley Thompson. He was kind of the big kind of like I think he was he a pentathlete or triathlete? Anyway, he was a multi-event athlete in track and field. And jiu-jitsu wise, Lucas Lepre is probably my ideal, like what I would love to emulate my game on would be him. Yeah.
Nice. Three favorite films and or books or TV shows or something like that.
3 favorite films and or books. Right. Okay. More of a film person than I'm a book person.
Not many people are book people nowadays.
Yeah. I'm a big fan of the like the Italian kind of mafia kind of genre. So it would have to probably be kind of Goodfellas, probably Godfather 1, and Carlito's Way.
Classics.
Yeah, Carlito's Way is obviously more kind of South American, but yeah, but still kind of like the kind of gangster kind of genre. But yeah,
nice. I didn't expect that, but fair enough. Dead or alive, who would you most like to meet?
Dead or alive, who would I most like to meet? That's a tough one. Dead or alive.
If you pull a real blank, we can just cut this bit out.
Yeah, sorry, I'm lost on that one.
It's all right. I'll snip that bit out, and if you come up with a good one, I'll move it all around and make it fit.
All right.
And then last bit, what are you most scared of?
What am I most scared of? That's probably changed over the years, to be honest. As I'm starting to get old, I'm scared of dying. I know that I'm not going to live forever, and it's just making sure that what I leave behind. This is a proper dad thing, but yeah, I just want to make sure that I leave enough for my kids, and make sure that they're happy, and they don't suffer too much. So yeah, that's my main fear.
Nice. That's a good one to have. It's not claustrophobia or whales or something strange like that.
No. I'm quite good at dealing with certain things, but yeah, obviously, if I came in front of like a killer whale or like a shark, then obviously that change.
Yeah, you're the thing you're most afraid of might change from moment to moment depending on where you are.
Totally, 100%.
Nice one. All right, mate. Well, unless you've got the person you'd most like to meet, we'll close it off there.
Yeah, I don't know. I can't think of anybody right now, to be honest.
That's all good. We'll cancel it there. Well, look, good luck for Saturday.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'll see you soon.
All right, man. Take care. Cheers in.
Thanks.